There's joy in the music, but it's trauma that unites refugee claimants who meet weekly to share their stories.
Maybe invite conversations about who we are.
Azar Al-Jalki is from Syria. He fled with his wife and children 2 years ago.
We had more than 7,000 missiles on a small town.
How Canadian voters cast their ballots on October 21st will impact future asylum seekers.
I just want to think of the people that they are claiming are seeking the asylum. Why am I seeking the asylum? Is it because I am coming from 5-star hotel, or because I'm coming from boil of fire?
Before the civil war in Syria forced Viken Majarian and his family to flee, he was a dentist, his wife was an engineer. In 4 years, they have become permanent residents, but neither is able to work in their chosen field.
Refugee policy, in my opinion, it must be choose not only bring all the refugees. They should do 50-50 in my opinion, because Canada needs skilled people.
The NDP wants to improve foreign credential recognition, possibly through practicums.
It'll cost about $60,000 to do each assessment, and in fact, they could have it as a loan to begin the program, and they can pay back that loan, and the program will fund itself.
The Green Party has also talked about creating a system to evaluate immigrants' education.
During the last federal election, the focus was on Canada's commitment to refugees and its willingness to increase numbers. But that was in the context of an international refugee crisis. The topic of immigration was divisive and somewhat explosive. This time around, not so much.
It may be an extreme to say immigration is a non-issue in this election, but experts say it's not among key topics that will define it.
It's not about immigration intake, but this notion of integration and what it requires and the role of the state in sort of fostering either a multicultural context or pursuing a more secular or homogenous context.
A dramatic increase, particularly in Quebec, in the number of asylum seekers who avoid official entry points has put much more attention on the Safe Third Country Agreement. It's a pact between Canada and the United States that allows each country to block certain would-be refugees.
If you cross here, you will be arrested by the police.
We cannot unilaterally, as a country, enforce our initiatives. That said, the numbers have come severely down. And we do encourage all immigrants to use the proper ports of entry.
The Conservatives, meanwhile, simply promised to put a stop to people walking across the border. It's also a topic of interest for the People's Party of Canada.
We need refugees, and you know, with that being said, we just want to make sure that we're giving it to the people who need it. So we're just going to put like a little fence.
Azar Al-Jalki, meanwhile, says the greatest day of his life was when he arrived in Canada. He'll keep a keen eye on the outcome of the federal election and what it will mean for those who follow in his footsteps. Belle Puri, CBC News, Vancouver.